Welcome to your Unit 8 test review. Remember, we warned you there would be a new set of short answer questions on the test. Here's how the questions will read. And here again is the question answering strategy that Ms. Jacob has no doubt been teaching you throughout the unit. I just add my usual comment. If the question asks for one piece of evidence, provide two or even three. You are not, remember, penalized for wrong answers. You are penalized for thin, incomplete answers. And what's our class mantra? Write more. I promised that I'd reveal the 6 works that will appear on the test. Moodle will randomly choose 2 of these for you. Here they are. You will also write one 15-minute essay. And again, we're availing ourselves of Moodle's splendid randomizer. You will get a question on one of 3 works. Here's one possibility. Here's another. And here's the final possibility. So now I'll move into the multiple choice portion of the review. Serious warning here. You will encounter many more questions on this test than you have not seen before. Many are more general and contextual. I'm about to tell you what to expect, but you want to pay attention. Simply memorizing answers is not going to serve as well in this test, although, of course, the review questions are fair game. Oh, so many dates, most of which you really don't need to memorize. But now is a good time to review basic context and chronology and to try to keep the most essential dates straight. In Italy, the Proto-Renaissance period is the 14th century or the 1300s. The early Renaissance is the 15th century or 1400s. Note that the lives of Cosimo de' Medici and his grandson Lorenzo pretty much span the century. Also, note that the 15th century opens with the Bronze Door competition and more or less closes with Leonardo da Vinci. Leonardo is usually classed as a high Renaissance painter, but really, the Last Supper is on the cusp between the early and high Renaissance. The Northern Renaissance is contemporaneous with the early Italian Renaissance. The first half of the 1500s, or the 16th century, is the time of the High Renaissance and our Ninja Turtle superstars. Note how these dates are clumped together in the first few decades of the 16th century. The Reformation also began in these years and spread throughout Northern Europe during the 16th century. The wars of religion will end in 1648, that is, our next unit. So I borrowed this review slide from another teacher. These are all very important elements of both the Italian and the Northern Renaissance. Remember, there will be more general contextual questions on this test. And there were differences between the Italian and Northern Renaissance as well. Again, these could help you. You will see several attribution questions where we'll give you a work that you probably haven't seen and ask you to attribute to an artist or to an art historical period, such as the High Italian Renaissance. So, who painted this scene of the Rhone River at night? Probably the same guy who painted Starry Night, right? Vincent van Gogh. These works share an expressionistic view of the night sky, strong, loose, swirling, and parallel brushstrokes, and even a color scheme. You will see more attribution questions like this in future units, again because the work of individual artists becomes more important as we progress through the course. What are the qualities that set Venetian paintings, including the Patience of Titian, apart from other Renaissance paintings? Who denounced paintings such as these? Who was an important 16th century patron of the arts? Be careful about your dates. You know the drill when it comes to random questions. And here are some more. This famous dome fell off the required works list, but you're still going to need to know something about it. Who designed the dome and supervised its construction? And, I'm giving you another freebie, it was a remarkable feat of engineering as well as design. Still more random questions. Note that some of these questions refer back to works from earlier units. What innovations appear in this artist's work? Why did the patron commission this chapel? What was he afraid of? What kinds of scenes are juxtaposed in the lamentation and its decorative border? All of the following have been interpreted as wedding symbols except, ouch, you really do need to know those symbols. Why can this painting be attributed to Van Eyck? Think about the qualities of all Van Eyck paintings. What is the term for an altarpiece with a centerpiece and two flanking wings? What is the term for the lower portion of this altarpiece? The landscape we see through the window is an actual Florentine scene. The river is identifiably the Arno. But what school of art influenced the artist, and what other religious paintings employed vivid landscapes? So there's another except question that requires you to look closely at this work. How does the artist use shading and shadow? What kind of personalities does he give his figures? I've always loved that little angel looking toward us. What kinds of perspective does he use? Are there any symbols in the painting? How does this painting reflect a new Renaissance approach to depicting biblical figures and saints? Whew, this is not an easy test, but I've dropped a whole lot of hints and even given away some answers. So good luck.